And hello, YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of the Zone TV Movie Entertainment with me, your host, Jonathan. Once again, bringing you my thoughts and review for last night's episode of The Flash, Season 6, Episode 7. I think, maybe one of the best episodes they have done yet. Especially in this season. The season has been kind of like a little bit of rocky. Been good, been okay, been fine, been okay, whatever. Been very good. So now we up to the point where Barry is, he's counting down the days basically of when this crisis happens, and he's not really being completely honest about what he's really how he feels about leaving everybody. He feels like he's gonna leave everybody. He's preparing everybody for his exit, and he thinks everybody be fine, but deep down he knows that he's scared. He's scared that he's gonna be dead. He's gonna be no longer existing, leaving Iris, leaving Nora, leaving everybody behind, and it's frightening him. And then of course we got to see at the end of last week's episode, Elongated Man gets attacked by the new Bloodlust, I believe that's his name. He gets attacked by him, and then of course Killer Frost saves him, and then of course he's dying. He got infected, and then in this episode, Barry tries to give him his Speed Force to heal him because he has super speed. He heals him, and he gets infected himself, and he's basically fighting himself inside his mind, and he's struggling. He's struggling so much that he's blaming himself. He's blaming the Speed Force. He doesn't realize that the bad guy is pretty much using him, and he wants to control him and use him as his puppet, promising him things like, oh yeah, if you allow me to be a part of you, you can save lives, you can do all this, you can survive after the crisis and come back. And even the Speed Force, the Speed Force is telling him, hey, listen, man, this guy is not your friend. He ain't helping you. We're connected. We know you. You know us. And Barry's like, listen, you guys gave me so much pain and suffering. I always have to sacrifice myself for you guys. When is it my turn? When is it your turn to sacrifice for me so I can be alive and be with the people I love? And we got to see that emotion from Barry, and it was crazy. He attacks the Speed Force, but in the end, it was kind of a ruse to take out the bad guys, powers out of him so he can get back to normal. And then, of course, the ending, which is the big shock reveal that he was still under control of Bloodlust. I think that's his name, Bloodlust. I'm not really too sure about the villain's name. I always forget. I apologize. So many shows on TV right now, so much to remember. Anyway, so at the end of the episode, we see that he's still being controlled by the Bloodlust. And it ends like right there, to be continued. So now we have to wait the next week to see what happens, how Barry's going to get out of this predicament. He's pretty much trapped. The one thing I don't like about this episode is the fact that they say, oh yeah, tomorrow's the crisis, which in reality, crisis is on the 9th or the 8th. Very bizarre that they would just say, oh yeah, tomorrow's the crisis for them, but for us, we have to wait like a couple of weeks. And I was like, come on, really? You could have just matched it up perfectly with everybody else, but I guess not. And also, they gave a good episode for Iris, which was like, thank you. She finally did her journalism. She had a photographer, which is Cisco's girlfriend, and then of course she had the cousin of the bad girl who pretty much found out everything about Harrison Wells, or the reverse, or the new Harrison Wells, and knew who Barry is, who now knows who Barry is, and we got to see them interact and try to help Iris pretty much solve a case that she was working on, which is surprisingly a good moment for Iris, but yet they had to do it during Barry's breakout moment. I think this episode shouldn't have had Iris doing her investigating stuff. Not that I didn't like it. I did like it a lot. It was great, but man, they had to pick the wrong time for it. If it was just a regular, fight the bad guy in and out, yeah, give Iris all the shine she needs, because obviously she needs it, and it was great. But I think this episode was more focused on Barry, and it was so good, and I loved every moment of it, especially with Barry arguing with the Speed Force, pretending to be his mom, saying that you're the one who killed my mom, and that was passionate and awesome. They should win an Emmy for that one. That was actually pretty cool. If that was there was an Emmy for just a scene. Grant Gustin should win for that one scene. That was actually, excuse me, pretty powerful, and I liked it very much. So leave me a comment below. Let me know what you guys thought about it, and what do you think is gonna happen next week? Do you think the team is gonna save him? Somebody else is gonna save him? He's gonna save himself? Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you guys thought about it, and stay tuned for more. Thank you very much, and have a good day.